Go ahead. Turn it up. It's the Record Machine Show with your host, Jimmy Howe.
I just can't explain it. Doesn't make much sense. Sunday morning came and went with nothing to repent. No one seems to know me, which is good in its own way. I'm living free out on the street and the sun is out today. Tuesday is the day for me. Tuesdays are the best. The shower at the city pool is cheaper than the rest. I prefer the new report. The age stuff's not for me. If you leave it in the bottle, it'll spoil eventually. Take me to the city, boys, and show me a good time. Take me downtown where the lesser lights can shine. Take me in a Cadillac or take me in a Jeep. I don't care how I get there if I leave on my feet. I'll leave on my feet. Might have said to say goodbye as he was packing up his trunk. He used to sing like Bessie Smith when he was 2/3 drunk. Boys would clap, the girls would sneer, the cops would just drive by, gazing out the window, giving all of us the eye. Take me to the city, boys, and show me a good time. Take me downtown where the lesser lights can shine. Take me in a Cadillac or take me in a Jeep. I don't care how I get there if I leave on my feet. I leave on my feet. No one seems to follow what I do or what I say. Nothing seems to matter to the beat cops anyway. Time has come to leave here, packing up to go. So grab those empty bottles and put them in a row. Grab those empty bottles and put them in a row.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the band Overland Express, bassist Tom McNally to the program. Tom, how you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Where are you at today?
I am in Oakville, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, nice.
North shore of Lake Ontario, west of Toronto, east of Hamilton.
Cool. What's the weather like there today?
It's just below freezing, so maybe 30 Fahrenheit. Snow's on the ground, sun's out, so can't complain. Pretty good for this time of year. You're, Myrtle Beach area?
Yeah, North Myrtle Beach. It's pretty cold here, too. I mean, it's not as cold by you, but it's probably about 35, 40 degrees here.
Yeah. Is that the land of saltwater taffy? I believe that's the connection I have.
So how long have you been living in Canada? Your whole life, or...?
Yep, whole life. I was born in our nation's capital, Ottawa. Moved to this area when I was about 2 years old, and have pretty much been here ever since.
Tell me about your musical background. How old were you when you first started getting involved in music?
Well, we had music in the house growing up. My dad was an avid music listener. He played piano when he was younger. A big influence came from my older brother, who's just a monster music collector. Mm-hmm. So where some people would get hand-me-down clothes from their older siblings, I got hand-me-down records.
Nice.
So I got exposure at a very early age to like Motown and 60s British invasion music, among other things. Mm-hmm. I took piano lessons for a couple of years when I was about 9, 10. Quickly forgot all about that, especially the theory. Uh-huh. But then when I was 15, 16, I just started playing. Got a bass guitar because I didn't know anyone else who played bass. Mm-hmm. And took it from there. It started out kind of simultaneously playing in a folk rock and a punk rock group on bass. And, been through various styles and genres and combinations since then.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Now, I believe every band or artist is influenced by someone. Who are some of your influences?
Well, I go back to what I grew up with, Motown, but then getting further into the 70s, like 70s rock music. I had a punk rock band, went through ska, reggae, rockabilly, pretty much anything that was going on. I was at least listening to it, if not playing it.
Very cool.
And that's evolved to what we're doing now, which is more of a rock with a bit of a country flavor, but then detours to other styles.
Now, do you have a favorite bass player of all time?
A favorite of all time? Wow, it's hard to pick one. Again, I'll go back to guys like James Jamerson or Bob Babbitt from Motown. Mm-hmm. I'm very influenced by reggae bass players. So Family Man Barrett from the Wailers, Robbie Shakespeare, and one of my all-time musical heroes is a guy named Dennis Bovell, who's based in the UK. Brilliant producer. He's primarily a bass player, but he dabbles on a bunch of other instruments. Very creative guy. He's actually got a podcast on Mixcloud as well.
Nice. What's it called?
It's called Dub on Air.
Oh, nice.
It's part of the Soho radio channel, I think.
Cool. I'm going to have to check that out. I love listening to other shows.
Yep.
Your band, Overland Express, can you talk about the band a little bit? Who are the players, and when did you guys form? How long you guys been at it? We've
been playing under one name or another, primarily the three of us, for about 30 years now, I think. Steve Moffatt and I are brothers-in-law, so we go back way, way long time. Mm-hmm. It's Steve's misfortune to be my brother-in-law. So we've played in different combinations through the years, and he met Bruce Richards along the way. The two of them were doing sort of folky stuff, country stuff with another bass player who was a friend of ours. Mm-hmm. And they actually brought me in initially as the drummer.
Wow.
Because the bass chair was already occupied, and then that bass player left. I moved over to bass, and then we brought in my son Colin on the drums, maybe 12 years ago now.
Wow.
And he's actually a better bass player than me, but I have seniority, so I'm still there on bass.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, in October, you guys released a brand new album titled Missing Tuesday Morning, available now on Bandcamp. Can you talk about that album a little bit?
That's right. That's the second full-length album that we've done. As you mentioned, it's on Bandcamp. You can find us at overlandexpress.bandcamp.com. So it's a collection of songs that, I guess sort of our MO is to have songs that either tell stories or convey emotions. And we will dabble in different musical styles. So whatever style suits a particular song, whatever tells the story or conveys the emotion, that's the way we'll go. So if a set of lyrics kind of lean towards like a country waltz, that's the way we'll go. Or if it's sort of a Neil Young and Crazy Horse garage rock kind of sound, we'll go there.
Cool.
Or barrel house blues or something that has sort of a New Orleans jazz flavor, we'll dabble in that as well. So if you're looking for an album with 12 songs that all sound the same, I don't think we're necessarily the band for you.
Right.
But if you don't mind coming along for the ride, we'll try to keep things interesting for you.
Yeah, when I listened to it, I felt like there's something there for everybody on that album.
Yeah, well, that's partly just a blend of the influences that we have, because we have somewhat different musical backgrounds and tastes, but we find a lot of common ground, and we're not musical snobs. We'll appreciate the craft in any musical form, and if it's something that we can play, we'll try to play it.
Awesome. This podcast is going to feature two of your tracks, Missing Tuesday Morning and Get Away From Yesterday. What's the story behind those two songs?
Well, Get Away From Yesterday, that's, maybe I'll just back up a bit. And typically, there's a couple of sources for our songs. Bruce Richards, he's our primary lyricist. He tends to write lyrics as poetry, and then he will either set them to music himself, or quite often he'll hand them over to Steve Moffatt, who will put them to music. So those two songs are collaborative works between the two of them. Get Away From Yesterday is the first track on the album. That's where you'll probably hear a bit of Randy Newman influence coming through. Steve's a big Randy Newman fan, so maybe the chord progression and just the sort of instrumentation on it might make you think a bit of Randy Newman. And then the story and the lyrics, it's sort of a bittersweet thing where it sounds positive, like get away from yesterday, move forward, but then it's hard to escape the past. So that's kind of the message there. Missing Tuesday Morning is more of a song about the down and out people that you might encounter in the city. A lot of the lyrics that we have are either from observation or direct experience. Actually, I have a niece who's a social worker in Toronto, and she's an advocate for the homeless. So that's
very nice.
Kind of speaking to that group, to those people and their experience. But thanks for playing those two songs. I hope people enjoy them. I'm
sure they will. Now, how do you guys approach songwriting? What is your creative process like?
Well, there's a couple of different avenues where the songs will come in. Either Bruce will bring in a song, or once he's handed it to Steve and Steve has worked out the basic song structure, he'll bring it in for the four of us to play. We will go through, rehearse, figure out as a 4-piece what we can do with it. And then, at that point, we're starting to think of arrangements. What other instrumentation could we put on a recording? Just at the risk of sounding like a hippie, the song kind of tells us how to play it, how to arrange it, how to mix it.
Right.
If you just listen, and you get a sense of the emotion of the song or the story that it's trying to tell, and how can we support that? How can we bring that out in what we're doing? So once we've got things basically worked out as a 4-piece, we'll do a basic recording, live off the floor typically, with the four of us, and a vocal track. Sometimes the vocal track becomes the final version, or sometimes we'll overdub it. And at that point, we'll talk about the arrangements and what other instrumentation we could add. Are those instruments that we can play ourselves, or sounds that we can get from a keyboard patch, or do we bring in somebody else to play horns or do backing vocals or whatever? So that's a fun part of the process. I'm not really involved in the songwriting so much myself. I'm more involved in the arrangements and then the mechanics of recording and mixing and getting the music out there. it's a very collaborative process.
Cool. Now, what is it about music that makes you feel passionate?
It's fun, first of all, just working with other people and coming up with ideas and trying to come up with something original. It's storytelling, it's conveying emotions, it's communicating. There's a lot of aspects to it that I enjoy.
Very
and
cool.
that we enjoy as a group.
Now, if you guys could do a collaboration or a duet with any band or artist, who would it be and why?
Wow. I guess there's all sorts of people who have influenced us that we'd love to work with. But to be honest, we look closer to home, and there are people around that we see playing locally who we would love to work with. I'm trying to come up with a name or an example, but we're pretty much open to anything.
That's cool. Now, what are your plans for 2023? Any shows coming up that you want to talk about?
Nothing booked. We're sort of looking into what the possibilities are. It's kind of a strange time. Things are opening up as far as live performance goes. But for basically a bunch of old guys doing original work that nobody's ever heard of, there's not quite so many places to play. So, and then for the places that do support that, we're kind of competing for stage time with bands that are 20, 30, 40 years younger than us. So, but there are places that we can look to for that. So we might try to get something going in the new year, places to play, or we could kind of go back to what we used to do in the punk rock days, book a hall and put on our own show. Another option here that's becoming very popular are matinee shows on Saturday and Sunday afternoons. It's a time when there's not a lot of foot traffic maybe in the bars, and the hours are maybe more conducive to older musicians with older fan bases. And you're not out till midnight, 1, 2 in the morning to see a show. You still got the evening to enjoy if you want. So there's a few places that are doing that we could maybe call on. Yeah,
that sounds like a plan. Now, when you're not writing and recording music, what do you like to do for fun besides music?
Well, it's pretty all-consuming, but I know personally I'm interested in things like home improvements and carpentry, woodworking, things like that. Just getting outside and either working outside or just getting out for walks or exploring. Used to like to travel, have not got back into that yet since COVID, but would definitely like to get back to getting out and seeing more places.
Have you been to the U.S. At all recently?
I have. Not recently. I guess the last few times I'd been to the States was to go to New York City for different things. Haven't been to a lot of places in the States, but through New York State, Pennsylvania, Ohio, been to like Denver, San Antonio.
As a band, have you guys ever performed in the United States?
No, we haven't. I'm not sure what the situation is at the border these days either, because I guess different governments on both sides are talking about restricting movement of people across the border to work. So I have no idea what the landscape is like there. But I don't think we'd say no if the opportunity came up.
Now, are you a full-time musician, or is this just something that you're doing on the side?
It's either been a full-time hobby, or for me, I've kind of worked maybe on the fringes of the music industry over the years. Like I have a background in IT, so that's what paid the bills.
Gotcha.
But then as part of that, at one time I did some consulting work for SOCAN, which is the Performing Rights Society in Canada, the equivalent of BMI or ASCAP in the States.
Right.
So I was kind of on the fringes of the music industry there. When I haven't been playing, I've been running PA systems for other bands, helping other bands do recording. So, it's certainly involved, if not on a full-time basis. It's been pretty much a lifetime passion.
Now, besides your band, are you working on any other projects that you want to talk about?
Not that we'll necessarily make it to the public ear, but Steve and I are collaborating with a couple of friends of ours. It's more of a classic rock kind of configuration. And again, it's just writing songs and doing arrangements, and that's pretty much for our own amusement and for the benefit of family and friends. And our drummer, Colin, he is very active with other artists around Toronto. He plays for a couple of singer-songwriters, Mike Legier and Dante Mattis. in Toronto. He plays drums for them. He's also played bass with other bands in the area.
Nice. Now, do you have a website that you'd like to promote?
We don't have a dedicated website as such. We've got our music on Bandcamp, so that's overlandexpress.bandcamp.com. And then we are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube under Overland Express Band, one word. At this point, we don't really see a need to maintain a website in addition to running the socials and having the Bandcamp site, although never say never.
Right.
It's just you find that it's the same stuff being posted across all platforms. So how many do we need?
Now, you have 2 albums available up on Bandcamp. I believe the first one is from 2014. Now, do you find putting your music up on Bandcamp is a lot easier than having to deal with physical copies necessarily?
Well, you can do both on Bandcamp.
Okay.
You can sell music as digital downloads, or you can sell physical CDs or vinyl or any other merch that you want to sell through there. It's all possible. I guess what we're finding is that we're probably getting about an even split between physical and digital sales on Bandcamp.
Uh-huh.
And we've like our CD release show, we had copies of the CD for everyone, and some people were saying, "Oh, I don't have a CD player anymore. Can we get a digital download?" Yes, you can.
Awesome.
We haven't ventured into the vinyl world at this point, but that's another way to go. Bandcamp's working well for us. It's I know I get a lot of music from there, from other artists.
Yeah, I do too. I really enjoy that site. Now, both of your releases are available on digital download and CD, but not vinyl as of yet, right?
Yes, that's correct.
You should try that website, Kunaki. It's called Kunaki.com. They do one and done vinyls. You get one. You could order one vinyl copy. That's it. You don't. They print them out as the orders come in. There's no set limit on what you order. I just got one from a friend of mine. He sent me a copy of his album from that company, and it sounds pretty good.
Well, that's good. That's always been a kind of a sticking point in the past. Going to vinyl, you need to have a certain size of run before you can even get in the door.
Right.
What also complicates things now is just the landscape of vinyl versus digital download versus all the different streaming services like Spotify and Tidal and whatever. Mm-hmm. They've all got different standards for loudness and dynamic range and things like that. So if you wanted to master an album,
mm-hmm.
you kind of have to master it differently for iTunes versus Spotify. And if you're going to vinyl, and that's a very different mastering process as well, you have to really be careful of the low end so the needle doesn't bounce out of the groove, that sort of thing.
Wow.
So, yeah, if you want to do it right, it's a more involved process.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I think it'd be fun to have a vinyl LP at some point.
Yeah, even if you guys like made a couple of copies just for yourselves, just to have, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Just like to add to your collection, I think that would be pretty cool. And
mm-hmm.
I think they're about $40.
Okay.
For everything, like you send in the album art and everything, and it's put in shrink wrap and all that other stuff. But it looks pretty damn good. I mean, like I said, a friend of mine sent me one a few weeks back, and
mm-hmm.
looks and sounds good, pretty good. So
yeah, well, that's the experience I grew up with, right? You get a new album, and you dedicate time to put it on and listen to it, and go through the artwork and see who played what on what track.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
More of an immersive experience, whereas now I'm listening to stuff on the computer and the car. I couldn't even tell you the title of half the songs because I'm not reading anything. I'm just kind of taking it in just as sound.
Yeah, opening up that new vinyl and getting that whiff of that, it smells right off the press. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, and even CDs, like just having the booklet with the lyrics or something like that.
Yeah, some people put like like prizes inside the CDs too. Like a friend of mine, Mike, he has a band called Love and Chains, and they put like guitar pick on the inside and a sticker.
Mm-hmm.
when they seal it up and stuff like that for the fans. So I think that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, well, we're still attached to our physical media as a band, so we see the practicality of digital. I know I buy a lot of stuff on digital, mostly because of the shipping cost. If I wanted to buy something from a band in the States, it could cost me twice as much to have it shipped through USPS than it does for the album itself. So in that case, maybe I'll just go for the digital download.
Now, do you have a CD player in any of your vehicles?
Yep.
Me too. I love that. I buy spools of the blank CDs, and when I get my digital downloads off of Bandcamp, I just burn them to a CD so I can listen to them in the car on the way to work, and on the way home.
Right. Yeah. I'll either have the physical CD that I bought, or I might have songs on my phone and just Bluetooth it through the car.
Nice.
So
now, is there anything you'd like to mention that we didn't talk about today?
I don't know if there's anything specific. I guess just the time of year. We're into the holiday season. So I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to be on your show. I really enjoy it. I love the platform.
Thank you.
I've had a lot of fun going through your back episodes. It's great to hear the experiences of other independent artists and hear about their process and the challenges that they're facing. And it's sometimes it's good to hear that you're not alone.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's great. I love picking people's brains and hearing their story and sharing their music with everybody. It's very rewarding.
Yep. I know I don't read a lot, but when I do read, it tends to be like musical memoirs or things like that, behind the scenes stuff, and how the sausage gets made, kind of thing. And then some of the podcasts that I listen to are more the background behind the scenes of how things are created. So your show really plays into that for me. I can go directly to the source and also pick up some interesting new artists along the way.
Well, I appreciate that. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today, Tom. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I really love the albums, both of them. I think they're great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, thank you for the opportunity. So with the season, whatever you and your listeners are celebrating and however you're celebrating it, enjoy, be safe, look out for each other.
Exactly.
And we'll keep listening to good music.
I hear you, brother. Well, I want to wish you a very happy holiday season and a happy new year. And let's stay in touch, all right? Whenever you have something
Absolutely.
new. When you got something new coming out again, we're friends on Facebook. Just send me a message, all right?
Will do.
All right, brother. You take care and have a great day, all right?
Thank you, James. You too. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Some people say that you should get away from yesterday. Leave the past behind and just go on your way. 'Cause good memories that you have get mixed in with the bad. You never get away from yesterday. Blind to see, so I just carried on thinking it was meant to be. But it all came crashing down. I was left looking like a clown, 'cause you never get away from yesterday. Tried to tell me, but didn't want to hear about her running around, and one day she disappeared.
Machine Show is a weekly radio podcast produced by Jimmy Howell Productions. All rights reserved. For information regarding distribution or adding this podcast to your website, please visit our contact page at therecordmachineshow.com to submit your request. Thanks for listening. See you next time on The Record Machine Show. The Record Machine Show.